So in this video, I'm going to walk through how to test and set up a sign-up flow for an application. So we have this application right here called Parametric, and this is not going to cover how to set up a form or how to test a form because I already made a video for that, and that video is linked up top here. But this is going to cover, once again, the backend flow and the backend test setup for how to create a general sign-up page right here. So this is your sign-up page. Let's say a potential user comes in and they decide to start filling out this form. So they put in their first name, they put in an email, let's say, they put in a password. Obviously, it's not a good password. And they click on agree to the terms of use and privacy policy. Now they click on that. And when they click join, I'm going to show you two different scenarios that we're going to go through. This a.a.email.com, this is already an email that is in use. This is already an existing user. What you might find on different websites as you use different services is when you click on join, you might get an error message, something like this, that says, sorry, the email is already in use. So we're going to go through that. And of course, when the user does enter a valid new email, let's say, something, just a random email really, then you click on join, and then you're going to enter into the application as a new logged in user, as you see right there. So again, we're going to cover the sign up flow. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to jump right into code right here. Once again, the backend. So what you're looking at here is a request handler. So when the user makes a request to sign up, then this function gets invoked. So what's going on in this function? Well, first of all, from the request body, we get our key pieces of data. The first name, the user's email, the password, and whether or not they agreed to terms of conditions. And in this case, they did. The form would not even allow you to submit. But in this case, I am capturing that for a purpose that you'll see shortly. Okay, so these are the four things that I've gotten from my request body. And then from there, I'm first seeing whether the user exists in the database, and we're getting the user from their email. That's what we're doing. And once gotten, let's say the results are there. Let's say the user is already in the email. Then that's when we send a 409. And that was the error that you saw where it says a user is already existing. So that's a 409 error. Now, suppose the user is indeed new. Well, in that case, we do a couple things here. Now, this flow is obviously not going to be exactly your flow, but I'm showing you an example flow on how to set this up. So first, we create a Stripe customer email. This is, of course, if you're using Stripe and so on, but that's that. From there, what we do is we hash the password using bcrypt, using a secure hashing algorithm. And then from there, we insert the new user into our database along with their first name, email, the hash of their password, the customer ID, the Stripe customer ID that is, and the terms. And then we also set a Jwt Authorization Cookie. Now, what is this? The point of this is to maintain the user's authorization token. In other words, when the user makes subsequent requests once logged in, so for example, if I go back here and the user starts doing things on the application, like let's say they want to, it's getting blocked. Okay. Let's say they want to save something, right? So if they want to save a new composition, then they go ahead and type whatever they want and they start doing their actions. Of course, to do so, the user has to be authorized. So to ensure the user is authorized, we set a Jwt Authorization Cookie. That's that. And then what we do here is we generate a random token. Why is that? Because we use this token to send them a verification email. So we send a verification email, we send a welcome email. We also use that token to insert into our database relating to whether the user verified their email. Again, this is all specific to this application, but I'm just once again walking you through a general sign-up flow. That's what that is. So a general sign-up flow is just like that. And of course, if any of these things ever errors out, then we get right into our 500 where we return an error like that. So this is your general flow right here for a sign up. And let's go ahead and see how we test this out. So now in our test, let's go in here. We're describing our sign up. What we're doing here is first, I am stubbing all of the functions that you just saw. In other words, you saw a bcrypt, insert user, set Jwt authorization, and so on. All of these functions are being stubbed. Stubbed, in other words, we are forcing all of them down a specific path here to test for a specific scenario. And what is that? Well, once all these functions are stubbed, again, the reason we're stubbing them is for the purpose of testing. I don't need to actually go ahead and call these functions. I'm not testing for whether the function works. What I'm testing for, this is an integration test. So what I'm testing for is, watch this, on a new user, let's say the user enters in whatever they want to enter in, first name and so on. From there, we are saying with the assumption that the user is a new user. In other words, I am stubbing the find user from email to return something that is empty. Recall, find user from email. If that is empty, that means the user is new. That means we have not found a user so far. That means it's a new user. Going back, I have stubbed it to be empty. I am saying on the assumption that we have a new user. Can we verify that? We return a 200. We invoke all of our functions right here. All of these things need to be invoked because, once again, I want to ensure that the JWT token was created, the emails that I need to send were sent, the tokens that I needed to insert were inserted, and all that. I want to ensure all of that. And this is what the test catches, whether all of those functions have indeed been invoked. Now, once again, I'm not testing for whether the database insertion actually works. That is a different, if you want to test that, that's a different test. This is for whether the flow of the sign up is working as expected. It's doing generally the right things. So here on a new user, that's on a new user. And then on an existing user, see here, I am stubbing the find user from email to return something. If there's something in there, and by the way, this can be anything. This can be any array that is not empty. So if there is something in there, recall, if the result is greater than 0, then right away we go to our 409 and we're done. So let's see what's going on here. Going to our test. We verify that we hit a 409. We verify that we've called our find user from email function. However, all of our other functions should not be called. And that's what we're doing. That's why we see the false here. False, false, false. Expect the called ones to be false, to not be called. That is exactly what we're saying. So this is how you do a general integration test for a general sign up flow, just like that. So that's the code. Hope it was helpful. And that's that.